UAE, Qatar, and Egypt to the stage for a quick panel. We're going to be discussing today energy realities securing the future in an uncertain world. Your Excellencies, please join me. We're going to have a bit of a lightning round this morning. So I've got about 10 minutes with you gentlemen, so let's make them count. Think in sound bites. Your Excellency, Suhail Al-Mazroui, the Minister of Energy here in the UAE, it's an honor and a privilege to speak with you this morning. Walk me through the latest OPEC Plus decision. Are we going to see a glut in the oil market?
Well, first of all, it's not only about oil or gas anymore. I think we're talking about energy. And the three things that we need to be sure after seeing the numbers from His Excellency Dr. Sultan's presentation and Secretary Burgham as well, there is a requirement for more energy. And same with oil and gas. The world, in absolutely no doubt, would require more resources. Those resources will be definitely more oil, definitely more gas, definitely more renewable energy, and we need to make sure that the environment for investment is allowed to do that. If we're not achieving a balance between the price and what the world requires, we will not have the flow of investment enough to do it. I know some countries like UAE and others are investing regardless, because we know the demand is there, the demand is happening, but not everyone can do what we are doing. And if we are not investing in a large scale, with the decline that we see in demand and the shrinkage we see in the stored quantities, which no one is talking about, we will have an issue down the road. And I have no doubt that this group is meaning well for the world, and we are trying to achieve that balance, keeping in mind we're not the only producers in the world. Our share of the world production is reducing, and if we are not investing more, but I think with the AI, with the data centers, we will definitely need more energy.
So you're not worried about an oil glut in 2026?
I'm not going, Hadley, I'm not going to talk about an oversupply scenario. I can't see that. I can't justify that. And I think all of what we are seeing is more demand. We just did not quantify how much is the additional requirement for power going to demand from gas, going to demand from oil. And keep in mind, part of the gas is associated. So we will have to produce those barrels in order to get the gas.
Your Excellency al-Kaabi, we're talking about an uncertain world. We're talking about politics. Is Qatar going to stop its LNG exports to Europe?
First, I'd like to thank His Excellency and His Excellency Dr. Sultan for inviting me to this conference. It's a pleasure to be with everybody, and I think it's very hard to speak after the two speeches that we heard, which were magnificent, and I agree with everything they said. Regarding whether we would stop to Europe, you're talking about the regulations in Europe. One of the things that I would like to highlight is, I think, maybe if you look at everybody in the room, and I think most of these companies are our colleagues and friends, we have had in Qatar the same policy and our view on how we see the business, how we see the transition, how we see the need for oil and gas for the future, and have not changed our ways. We have announced that we can't reach net zero because we don't think it's achievable. I think, a small part of this conference, unfortunately, changed with politics, depending on, when it was President Biden and now President Trump and so on. And I think they're not looking at facts and realities. And I think we shouldn't be following politics when we look at the lives of people for the future and how much energy we need in the future. Going back to your question, We have announced very clearly, I've spoken in several occasions, if Europe does not really look at how they can water down the CSDD or cancel the CSDD and still have a penalty of 5% of our 5% of our total world turnover as a penalty, we will not be delivering LNG to Europe for sure, 100%. And the reason being is what I just said. We have already announced a while back that we can't reach net zero, and that's one of the requirements, among other host of things that I think the majority are aware of. So I think Europe needs to understand that I think they need the gas from Qatar, they need the gas from the US, they need the gas from many places around the world. And I think if they don't change that, it's not us as a company, it's Toyota delivering cars that will be impacted. This is not an oil and gas thing. So I think it's very important that you look at this very seriously, and I think that's being looked at by the Europeans.
And Your Excellency Badawi, just a quick one for you. We're talking about a $35 billion gas deal that Israel called off, essentially. Do you believe you're going to be able to get that deal back on the table for Egypt?
So first of all, it's a great pleasure to be here, and Your Highnesses, and also really a big thank to Dr. Sultan, right, for having us here. When you look at Egypt, we're very much focused in terms on how we can really play a key role in the energy landscape and how we can really help to have molecules in the region, in the East Mediterranean, to be monetized at the lowest cost per scuff. And also in terms of enabling really this monetization to take place, leveraging the infrastructure, right, that exists in Egypt, and to make sure that we avail that energy need, to the different markets where it's required. When you look at Egypt, Egypt itself has a market of 120 million people. And at the same time, it has, energy needs which are growing, year on year. But more importantly is that really we're focused, and I like the word that Dr. Sultan mentioned about, filtering out the noise and really focusing really in terms on the signal. And we're very much, focused in terms on how we can unlock, the upstream sector, both, the oil and gas, accelerate production of existing fields, accelerate exploration to unlock future reserves, and not only in Egypt, but in the Eastern Mediterranean. And as well in terms of focusing on really on the infrastructure that we have to help our partners, both in Egypt and in the region, to monetize those molecules, whether in terms of oil or gas, through the petrochemical sector, to create value-added derivatives, through the refineries, to create value-added, products, or for our export terminals, to make that energy available, in the region. The third one is also on the mining, and critical minerals is also very, very important, as Secretary Doug Bergen, mentioned, and Egypt is very much focused in terms of unleashing the potential, right, of the mining sector, right, in Egypt, and collaborating with our partners to make that available, not only in terms of raw material, but as well in terms of industry, and also working really on the fourth pillar, which is the energy mix. Everybody talked about how energy is very important, and we're very much focused on creating the energy mix, which leverages, renewables, and which leverages, the oil and gas, and which leverages as well nuclear, to make sure that we actually make available gas to where it can create value-added derivatives and that we can provide the energy needs. And all of that without forgetting, the people element, because again, AI, technology, and so forth will always require people, and hence why we're focused on the health and safety of everybody involved in the value chain and on the climate. And collaboration is key. Our sixth pillar is collaboration. And really, I thank Dr. Sultan, and ADIPEC is a great example of really having an environment to foster this collaboration between different, members, whether policymakers, different industries, and also how we're leveraging collaboration with different countries right in the region, and also lately as well with Cyprus, to make that gas available in Cyprus, to be able to be available through the Egyptian infrastructure for the rest of the world, and also enabling, Egypt to be a platform for growth for companies, like Dr. Sultan was mentioning about having ARQs to grow as a vehicle, not only in Egypt but for the region. So we're very, very proud of the collaboration and really enabling those 6 key pillars to foster this collaboration with all our partners within the whole East Mediterranean to avail that energy that is required.
Your Excellencies, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.